We're going to pick up right where we left off with this Microsoft Surface laptop. Well, sort of right where we left off. Let me get my audio confirmations going here, and I'll tell you what I have done since yesterday. It hasn't even, there we go. And then we'll get SpeakerBot.
DougBot said I'm working here.
Yeah, that's all working. And you didn't hear my audio thing go through. So go right over here to, whoops, wrong button, this button. Here's that Microsoft Surface laptop. We did some work on it on Saturday. We did some work on it yesterday. The current state is that it has Windows 11 Pro 23H2 installed. It has not been connected to the internet, and I have not yet installed drivers. So it has a bunch of missing drivers. I intend during today's show to demonstrate loading the drivers from Device Manager by pointing it to the folder and see if Windows, well, could do the INF. Yeah, I think the INF, is that what's MSI, the MSI installation method, and maybe get on to Windows Update. Doug, how are you going to do all of that? Well, I made an image backup of the computer as it exists with the fresh install with no drivers present. So to show you no drivers, now since it doesn't have a display driver, I can't connect my capture card. So let's go right over here to Device Manager and show you all that there's all of those devices that are not present. I have two USB devices connected right now. You can see the little one on the bottom side of this adapter and the big one on the top side. The big one on the top side has macro and reflect bootable. So now I'm going to come up to the top. You click on any of these and you'll see the icons at the top change. Click on any of these. Now I have this icon for add drivers. Right, that one, oh, that one's still there. Wait a minute, am I misunderstanding this? Is the add drivers always there even without clicking on something? Come back here to add drivers. Yeah, it is. Or to Device Manager. Add drivers button is there. Now I know you can't see that very well, but we'll get a chance to show a closer picture of it later. Then I'll go to the Browse button and go to the USB drive that has the drivers that we copied over on Saturday. Yesterday, I did not have them on this little USB device. Now I have them. So then I'm going to click on this Surface Update folder, click OK, and then click Next, and we'll see how much, if anything, gets fixed by this. Watch these device drivers on the left-hand side to see what happens. And then regardless of what happens, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the restore. John Williams says most of those drivers are available through Windows Update. Just saying. Well, yeah, I'd like to demonstrate that and see if that's true. Because I'm not convinced it's true just because John Williams says it. I know he's a world-renowned expert on driver installations for computers. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Let's see, I don't have a picture-in-picture for this camera view. Let's see, how can I do this better? You know what I'm in the market for is a better overhead camera. I am open to recommendations. I'm particularly interested in one that has a focus wheel that I can just reach up to the camera in front of me and turn the focus rather than doing it through an app. And autofocus, I don't trust it a whole lot. I don't think I'm interested in 4K. However, if it was a 4K camera, that would mean that I could zoom in quite a bit. Okay, so there's the display driver loading. On the left-hand side, there's still quite a list of devices that don't have drivers yet. And I don't think we see, yeah, we don't see all of them. They're down the bottom scroll down to the bottom of the screen because the display driver changed the resolution. Ryan Lightfoot says, need a better overhead camera? I hear China has some nice balloon carried cameras. Hot air balloon over my house. Will that be good enough? I have to have a massive zoom. Now this technique, when you export drivers from somewhere, it's getting a whole lot more drivers than what show up on that list. It is actually, as I deduce, installing all of the drivers that are found in that list, not just the ones that are needed. I'm not sure about that. Oh, you know what? No, because I see some of those lines as you can't see them very well, but it says such and such .inf installed on 0 devices. Some of them say installed on 1 device. There's one that says installed on 3 devices. There's many different ways that we can get drivers. I'm curious about what are the differences in time efficiencies. And my guess is it doesn't make a big difference. Having to go, if for time differences, you have to consider the amount of time that it takes to find the drivers on the web, as opposed to if you have exported them from some other computer, then that's much quicker. That last read chat was from Ran Israel, says scanning INF files for matching Venn dev IDs and installing what it finds. Yeah, so it's scanning all those INF files, which there's a lot of them in a lot of different folders. And like I described yesterday, is when you go through doing a fresh install of Windows on a computer that needs a driver to access the storage media, it's difficult to tell which folder contains the drivers that you need. And when you're installing Windows, this capability of having it scan through all the subfolders is not available. Unless there might be some, you know, maybe a WMIC or a MDIS command that will scan through them from the Shift F10 prompt that we could get to. I'm not certain if we can get to that when we can't access the storage media already. Jim KJ3N says this whole series of videos about the Surface is the best advertisement for not buying one. Yeah, but this one costs what, $110? Windows 11 legitimate? Brian Lightfoot argues back to Jim, says, but Jim, Doug is literally just scratching the surface of the problems. And Jim says, overhead camera Logitech Brio. I think Carrie was just showing a Logitech Brio maybe yesterday in his members only. I think it was. I don't need to hold this keyboard here. That's just too much stress. While that's going, I'm going to take a look at today's email folder, see if I have anything stored there. I do not. Okay, there's another display driver update going on. Yeah, so that gave us a higher resolution, you can see, because now we can see more of the device manager. Let's move that over there. Yeah, I can't scroll that window down. I can't maximize it. Oh, this add drivers window is open. There, driver successfully installed. So there we've got a time on it by looking at how much time elapsed on this stream. I think this is useless to try to show Yeah, it's useless to try to show that. So what I'm going to do there is I will take a photo of that in case we want to see that later. Because I could show that through my iCloud. Now, how did that do? There's still a lot of drivers, a lot of devices not showing the driver. I'm going to say restart later. Oh, there, it just refreshed. So now all we have is the human interface device ambient light sensor. We'll restart the computer. Now, I bet I can get that up on my capture device. Windows is not up yet, so it's not going to show until the Windows driver is functional. Ken Stout says he's running late and will be in DVR mode. Brian, this is like watching paint dry. Oh, I am taking the heat, aren't I? All right, there's Windows. Yes, it is up. And I've got keyboard and mouse connected, wireless, password. And then, is there still that one remaining device driver? Device manager. Nope, that took care of all of them. That took care of every one of them. Nothing in other devices. So now I can restart and restore. Because yeah, I'm going to make you watch paint dry again. Holding down the shift key, click restart. That's my favorite way to get to the
Read chat, please.
boot from USB. Rand Israel says, does the built-in keyboard works now? Yeah, I guess I do need to document that, don't I? All right. I'll go ahead and let Windows come back up and we'll document that. I'm absolutely certain that it does. So certain. Brian says, cool, good boy, Doug, good boy. Why? What does he think was cool? Oh, I can't do that from there. I've got to go over here and click continue because you're not going to see that. So I'm just, now the keyboard doesn't work on the boot menu. So I'm going to press enter on continue through the wireless keyboard because it's still connected. And then when Windows comes up, I'll be able to bring it up on screen and then show that the keyboard and mouse works. Yeah, I got Princess turned back around the right direction. She's more compatible to that shelf that she's running on. There we go. And I'm signing in using the wireless keyboard. So now I'm going to come over here and show the mouse moving around and Windows key to bring up the Windows menu. So yes, the built-in keyboard and mouse work. So then again, holding down the shift key, click restart, hands are off of the keyboard now. It'll give me the multi-boot menu, but you won't be able to see it through the remote connection. I'll have to do that over here, and I can disconnect the capture device because what I'm going to do now is an image restore. Since this is under, well, it's not under 30. Yeah, the backup is under 30 gigabytes. So here we go. Use a device. USB storage. Now I have two USB bootable devices connected right now. I could have unplugged one. Yeah, Brian, not going to do a heaven benchmark today. At the moment, I'm not sure how many more days I'm going to have with this computer. I have, since I now own the computer, I'm not selling it to my client. I think I told the story yesterday that this is going to get reallocated to my daughter, and I might hand it off to her this evening when she comes to pick up my grandson, because I have my grandson now on Tuesdays, not Thursdays. Oh, it's going right into Mac and Reflect. It did not give me the choice of which one to boot to. All right, can I do Control-Alt-Delete now? No. I do not want to let this go because this just takes quite a while to. Wait a minute. No, that is what I wanted to do. Yeah, because I want to do a restore now. All right. So it booted first. The little one is Windows 11 installation. It's bootable. This one is Mac and Reflect bootable. Yeah, Greg M., the computer does know best. William Lynn says, why not work in recovery mode? Because I can't do a Mac and Reflect restore from recovery mode. Why would you want me to go to recovery mode? Here we go. Here we go. Okay, then I'll go to existing backups, browse for an image file, because I've got to point to the Macrium and Fabs on Silverstone, and then client backups. Oops, you know what? Those are pretty small though. You probably wouldn't have been able to read them. And then I'm going to choose the backup called Christie Surface Fresh Windows 11 Pro, no drivers or updates, and begin that restore operation. And that, well, I just selected that file and then choose restore. And here you'll get a time on how long it takes. So then I'll click, I'm not going to choose verify image to speed it up a little bit. And here's the 19.79 gigabytes. So less than 20 gigabytes of backup space. After the drivers were installed, the current installation is 28.49 gigabytes. So I'm going to click next. It'll automatically copy those partitions down, click finish, and then it's off and running. So here's the start. And then I have to click all target data will be overwritten and click continue. Down here it says after restore, reboot the computer. So it will reboot right here in front of my eyes when it gets to that point. And I'm not going to leave that on screen for that whole time. I'm going to come over here, pop out chat, and say hello to the peoples. Okay. Well, DougBot was first in that refreshed chat, but I see 4:53 a.m. Chevy, the first one, saying hello. Ghetto Fortnite said she nailed it. Really well done by her, referring to the 68-year-old woman singing a song. There's a link in the description if you want to hear that. It's kind of surprising. Oops, look at this. It's already done. PC will now reboot. So there's the amount of time it took to do that restore. Really, really quick. And Rick Lakes and Chad and Alice Jones and Chris Garrett. Oh, Chris Garrett picked up that her name is Jenny. I was wondering if anyone was going to pick up on that. So right now, the integrated keyboard and trackpad are not working. And then I'll sign in. And the method I want to do this time is that INF file or Windows Update. If you want me to demonstrate with, the MSI file. I have an installation. If you want me to do the MSI installation, put a 1 in chat. If you want me to do Windows Update, put a 0 in chat. Windows Update is likely going to take longer than the MSI. How are we doing? 920. 0. John, Rand 1. Lawn Dog 1. William Lynn 0. That's 50-50. Chevy 1. What did I say 1 was going to be? I'm pretty sure I said MSI file. Right? Just somebody type MSI file. That's what you mean by 1, right? Because Windows Update, I think I said 0. Yeah, MSI. So MSI. So let's see that. Then I'll come to, let's see where I want to go. Yeah, because we can run that from Windows. So I'll go to the F drive and then Surface and then drivers. Here, this is the MSI file. Let me turn extensions on. File name extension. So there you can see I have renamed it as Surface Laptop 3 MSI. And it's less than 1 megabyte in size. Double click. Oh, we got to get Device Manager open. Drag it over here to the left side. Scroll it so it's in a good position. Move this one off to the right. Okay, then Alt-Tab to bring this piece back up, drag it over, next. Here we go. So this is where the stopwatch would start to see how long this takes. Install path Surface Update. Install path, no, to install to the default folder. So I guess it's going to copy those files to the Surface Update folder inside the Program Files folder. And then yes, here we go, off and running. So we're watching over here to see what happens with the drivers. Do you think I'll have time to even demonstrate Windows Update? Lawn Dog says, so can I change an exe file extension to MSI and it will work? No, you cannot. MSI is an installation program. Please. Not every exe is going to be an installation program. Rand Israel says, see if you have this folder on Big Beast from Saturday. Yes, I do. That's how I copied it to this USB thumb drive yesterday after the show. So I already know that it's there. Because I copied the whole folder over. Lawn Dog says, yep, you are correct, Almighty Doug. Now, if you actually had an MSI file that somehow had an exe extension on it, yeah, you could change the extension, but I don't know that Microsoft installation files are ever distributed with exe extensions. I suppose it's possible. Yeah, William Lynn, the place I got the MSI file, we did that on Saturday. So it is recorded in Saturday's show. If you bring up the Saturday show and use the ask button underneath the video, you can ask the AI in YouTube, where did he find the MSI file? And it'll take you right to that point in that video so that you don't have to scrub through it trying to find it. Greg M is asking, is the storage in this laptop an NVMe drive? It's only a 256 gigabyte SSD, and I don't think I have yet confirmed whether it's NVMe or SATA. Excuse me if you just heard me burp. On my monitor, I'm kind of scrolling up and down looking for what chat messages I missed that have anything worth mentioning. Ran Israel says MSI and EXE are different types of files. Microsoft uses both. Now, in the case of .com files, I think they can be renamed .exe and they still work. I think .com and .exe, when they're compiled code, are essentially interchangeable, except .com has a smaller file size limit. As in, I'm recalling that off the top of my head. Ran Israel says yes to that. Londog said, you are talking to a guy who just had a piece of blueberry pie for breakfast and whipped cream. It was a medical kind of thing. Yeah, I think Londog has told us the number of times he has diabetes, and that would be a reason for doing that. I wouldn't reveal that about a person unless they had already revealed it to us. William Lynn says, oh, that is just the Surface drivers. I got confused with MSI and INF files. The MSI file can contain INF files. We extracted INF files from the MSI file on Saturday. Greg M says he sees no ask button on the last Friday show, for example. Yeah, it's not totally clear to me when the ask button appears and when it doesn't. So you're telling me that not all of you get to see the ask button. It might be oh, I know what it is. You only see the ask button if you're using YouTube Premium, if you're paying for YouTube. That's it. You don't get the ask button otherwise. We have verified that before. There you see some blipping going on with the device drivers. Screen goes blank when it loads a device driver. Now it's in lower resolution. And then I think it's going to load another device driver, which will make it a higher resolution. Again, we see fewer device drivers needed. The list is getting smaller. We should have another display driver coming up here. Greg M says, okay, so I don't pay YouTube. Wintermute puts a link in chat for the what he thinks was for the MSI file that we downloaded on Saturday. Here we have a restart required. We have an 8:59 time. I have not connected to the internet yet, so it has not yet updated the time.
Read chat, please.
Ran Israel says, once the built-in keyboard works, I'd like to see its Ven Dev ID codes in Device Manager. For what device? Aren't those for each individual device? What device are you wanting to see that code? Is it the one that didn't clear up until we restarted? For the keyboard, he says. All right. Now there's more. There's more device drivers showing that they're not available. I'm going to say that's because once it installed the chipset, it found more devices that need drivers. So before I restart, I will try to get that code for you. Now, I can't actually copy it to chat until I have a remote connection to the computer. Now, HID, the human interface devices, we got a ton of them. And that's going to include, there's the touch screen, there's the touch pad. Touch screen, I don't think this is a touch. Well, I guess I haven't tested whether it's a touch screen. It might be. This is the Surface 3 laptop, not the Surface 3, which would always have a touchpad because it's designed to work in tablet mode. William Lynn says the MSI drivers are not the latest, so there's still Windows Update drivers. So MSI files just to get the functions running, then check for updates. Yes, that makes sense. Ran Israel says, I want to see what sort of interface the built-in keyboard was based on. That's not available in pre-Windows mode. Or is he saying, I want to see what sort of interface the built-in keyboard is based on that's not available in the pre-Windows mode? That's a totally different meaning when I put a different emphasis on it. So here is finish. We'll do that. Still have a lot of HIDs that won't happen until restart. So I'm going to say no to that. And then he wants the keyboard, touchpad, touch screen, touch device. Looking for keyboard. Let's see if it is here under keyboards. There's 4 of them. So properties, details, drop down list, hardware IDs. Is that what you want? These right here. I think you're gonna, wow. Oh, yes, I can show you that on capture. Unfortunately, that cable isn't long enough to reach all the way over there. Now, this isn't a remote connection, so I still can't copy those.
Read chat, please.
Oh, Rand says disconnect the dongle to filter out the external keyboard. That's a good idea. Oh, then I can't use the wireless mouse. Now we have 3 keyboards. Properties, details, hardware IDs. So you'll have to pause at that point. I think that is readable for you. Then I'll move on to the next one. I went back there because it was no longer highlighted and I wasn't certain that I had the right one selected. So there's the hardware IDs for that one. Cancel. I'm not even trying to see if they are the same. Hardware IDs. Now I'm preparing to restart the computer and then we'll try looking at those again. The keyboard and the trackpad are fully functional at this point. And I'm going to try touching something on the screen. Yes, it is touch screen active right now. And I'm going to, let's see, do I want to, no, I'm going to disconnect the USB devices.
Read chat, please.
The thumb drives. Just to be sure that it doesn't try to restart to those. I don't think it will. I think it'll prioritize the internal storage. That last read chat, when you did the image restore, why did you choose to restore with no drivers? Because I wanted to demonstrate what it's like to install drivers from that list of folders. When I made the backup image earlier this morning, I had not yet installed drivers. So what you saw me do on screen today was the first time I had drivers installed. Because I don't think yesterday I installed the drivers at all. I think. All right, here we're back up. This experiment today was all about showing what it's like to do the drivers. Apparently when I disconnected those thumb drives, I pulled the HDMI out a little bit. It looks like I'm going to have to refresh the connection for the capture card. Switch to Baby Beast capture and then switch back to this capture. Still no dice. Log into Windows. There it goes. I'm not sure which part of that actually brought it up. Now got to go over here. Go to device manager. Still showing the wrong time because I haven't connected to the internet yet. Keyboards. Still showing those same three, so I'm not going to go through them. And you know what? That does bring us up to overtime already. So I want to hold on to this some more. I have some other tests and demonstrations in mind. Oh, that's interesting. Chevy tried a !DB. Why did he do that? I'll show you. Windows key, whoops, I don't want Windows key F, Control F. If I do Control F, see where that was done. DougBot did an !DB. That !DB currently is what you used to know as !D to actually speak whatever you say after that. However, it is restricted to be used only by DougBot. So, nope. Nice try, Chevy, but that didn't work. Okay, so Ran was the one that was asking for the codes, HID human interface device rather than PCI or USB. All right. That means more to him than it does to me. See here, Ken Stout, he doesn't even want to watch the show. He wants people to give him the cliff notes. He's not even willing to watch. I watch his show. Yeah, I did. But I'm not bitter. Okay. Ambient light sensor has an error. Maybe after reboot we'll fix that.
Read the chat, please.
That would probably explain why the keyboard drivers only work in Windows. Yeah. So now that we've installed those drivers, does that mean I can't even get keyboard mouse working in BIOS? That's hard to believe. That's really hard to believe. I got to go look at that before ending the show. And then we'll make that the end. So I'll do Shift, power button, restart. Aaron Werner. Hello, Aaron. Nice to see you. Don't think we've seen you there for a while. All right. Now, yeah, this won't be on capture. Holding down the Shift key, clicking power and restart gets me to the advanced startup menu. There it is. Then I'll go to troubleshoot. Yeah, I can't use the keyboard. No. So now that's not actually doing the key presses to interrupt the normal build. William Lynn says, why would built-in laptop keyboard not work in BIOS recovery mode? What? Jen says that's dumb. Now I got another idea about that. Maybe there's, let's see, what is the hotkey for, what is hotkey for Surface Laptop 3
Read chat, please.
BIOS? Yeah, it should work. So I'm thinking you need to power off the device completely. I didn't do that. Press and hold the what? Volume up button while simultaneously pressing the power button? Wow. I don't know that I've ever heard that for getting into BIOS. Ensure your Surface Laptop completely shut down. Okay, so here's how I'm going to completely shut it down. Power button, holding down for 10 seconds. 2, 3, there it goes off. Okay, it is completely powered off. Press and hold volume up on the side of the device This doesn't have a volume button on the side of the device. That must be the Surface 3, not the laptop version. Because that would have a volume up button. Because it's kind of like a tablet. 1873. This is 1868.
Read chat,
Yeah.
please.
Volume up is on the keyboard, not the Pro. Same button you press. Yeah, but oh, he thinks it's the same button. Okay, well, I'll try it. Power button while holding the volume up button. Because maybe somehow this enables the keyboard. There's volume up. It's on the F4 key. So holding the F4 key and then power. And let go of both. Yes, it went straight into BIOS. Capture doesn't work. 1 in chat if you think the keyboard and mouse is going to work. 0 in chat if you think it's not going to work. Read the instructions. Who around here would have just been trying the usual suspects? F12, F10, escape, delete. Who would have been using the normal suspects? Put a 4 if you would have been using the normal keys. Put a 3 if you would have had the foresight to go search to see how to get in to BIOS. 3 if you would have known to go search. William Lynn says 3. And we got a few people that are saying 3, that they would have known to go search. So here we go. Down arrow key, yes. Mouse, yes. It all works in BIOS as long as you get into BIOS using the correct method. All right, that's it. I'm signing off. Hasta la vista. Today is Tuesday. Oh, today is Carrie's interview with Scott. I know Scott's last name. I used to know somebody who has the same first and last name as Carrie's guest today. He's Ask Your Computer Guy is his channel name. Almost can remember it. There's the email address if you want to send a question. And I will bounce out of here. So have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.
That's all, folks.
Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you dream. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream at LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more supreme. Tech support supreme. We're tech support supreme. We're tech support supreme. We're tech support supreme.